Hi, Martin here, and in this video I'm going to explain conditional code in Swift programming. So let's get started. So firstly for this video I'm going to be using Swift Playgrounds and Learn to Code. Again, Learn to Code is an interactive course created by Apple within Swift Playgrounds to teach the Swift programming language. If you don't have Swift Playgrounds or Learn to Code, I'll link some videos below that show you how to get it and goes over the basics as well. So in Learn to Code, after the for loops section, we'll have a conditional code section instead. So first and foremost, what is conditional code? Well, conditional code is basic if-then logic statements. So it modifies how code is executed. So they're implemented using if statements where code is run if a condition is met. So for example, if age is greater than 21, say come on in. So when we're talking about conditional code, we're usually talking about if statements. So let's jump into the challenge checking for switches. So remember, if you want to jump between different activities, click on this button in the top left hand corner and you'll be able to be on the activity checking for switches. So in this challenge we need to move to the first switch. So let's do that with 2 move forwards. So again, remember, you can type out the whole thing or you can select it from the bottom. So if I scroll over, I can find another move forward there. So we've had our 2 move forward because we can see Byte needs to move forward and forward until he gets to a switch. So now we need to add an if statement, which again we can do from the bottom. So if I start typing if, or even just I can click on if, and what that will do is add an if statement to my code. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of space there. So from here, you can see that our if statement obviously starts with if, and then it has the word condition. So this is where we add our condition, and then we have the familiar curly brackets where we've used in functions and for loops. So in between these curly brackets is where we'll add our code, and this code will run if the condition that we add is true. So after I move forwards in this challenge, we need to check if Byte is on a closed switch. So in the condition, what we're going to do is we're going to select is, and then you can see options on closed switch. So by selecting if is on closed switch, if Byte is standing on a switch that is closed, then what we want him to do is toggle that switch. Okay, so what we're going to do is go here and then we're going to add toggle switch. So if Byte is standing on a closed switch, then he's going to toggle that switch. So we're going to go over to our puzzle world and we're going to run our code. So hopefully, obviously, we should see Byte move forward twice with our first 2 move forward commands. And we can see now that he is on a closed switch and he has toggled it, which is great. So you can see that so we actually managed to complete the activity then, because each time that you run the code for this challenge, these tiles here are randomized. So in this instance, we actually won't have completed the challenge. So we were quite lucky on the last one. So in order for Byte to be able to complete the challenge, no matter what variation of switches comes up, we actually need to add a move forward before another if statement. So we're going to go move forward. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to highlight my if statement. I'm going to do Command C to copy, and then Command V to paste, and then I'm going to select the move forward and the if, do Command C, and then Command V. So let's go ahead and run this one a little bit faster. So now, no matter the variation, he's going to go forward and check every switch and complete the activity. So there you have it. We've successfully implemented if statements, but what if we want to check multiple conditions? So let's take a look at adding an if-else statement. So we're going to open the challenge using else if. And here the switches and gems are, again, randomized. So we need to be able to move and toggle or collect if we land on a switch or gem. So to do this, firstly, let's move to the first randomized space with a move forward. Then what we're going to do after that is we are going to add an if statement like the previous challenge to check if we are on a closed switch. So if, and then our condition is going to be is on closed switch. And remember, if then condition, and then between the curly brackets, the code we want to run. So it's the if, it's the condition, and then between the brackets, the code we want to run if that condition is met. So obviously in here, we're going to toggle the switch again. So far, pretty much exactly the same as the previous challenge that we just did. But we want to add an else if block to our if statement. So essentially what we're going to do here is add the else if to allow us to check another condition. So we can check if byte is on a gem as well as checking if he's going to be on a switch. So what we're going to do is here, where after the curly bracket, we're going to put else if. And then at the end of else if, we're going to put our curly brackets. So it will pop up with a red icon here. That's because we haven't added a condition yet. So what we're going to do is go is on gem. And then we're going to put collect gem in here. So in our statement, we have if is on closed switch, toggle switch, else if is on gem, collect gem. So if we go ahead and run that code, we can see that he's gone forward and we've collected the gem. So that tells us that that else if statement is working. However, similar to the last activity, there's actually two squares that may have a gem or a switch on there. So the simplest way is to take this whole group of code, Command C, and then Command V underneath. So now if I go ahead and run faster, we should move to the first randomized space, check if it's a gem or not, and then move to the second one and check if it's a gem or a switch. And there you have it. That's how we implement conditional statements or if statements into our Swift code. I hope this has been useful. If it has, please like the video, comment, and consider subscribing for more content. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.